Hello, my Aloha tribe, and welcome to the Aloha Perspective. Good morning, good day, good afternoon. I always have to follow that up with that because I say good morning because where I'm doing this from, it is morning. But wherever you are, whatever time it is when you watch this, hello. Just a straight up hello. It's Self-Care Wednesday, guys. Self-Care Wednesday. Guys and gals, and everybody, all the people. So, it's also day 8 of, good morning, T. Good morning, older sibling. It's also day 8 of Self-Love December. And I thought I'd pull out an old friend, the Affirmators deck, but these, in particular, I'm going to focus more on while we do the Self-Love December, because this is the love and relationships deck, but I'm trying to pick ones that are just kind of stand on their own, you know. But I also have this one, so I figured, instead of doing the Aloha deck every day, let's also do these, because these are fun. They're fun and whimsical, okay? They have their moments. They're like the Rebel deck, but without all the sweary stuff. And I know that's not always everybody's thing. I love it, because I think it's hilarious. But it's not everybody's thing. So let's just go with this, okay? So, alrighty, let's see. Oh, there are a few things I'll be talking about also on top of Self-Care Wednesday, and I've had kind of a eye-opening morning, kind of a just gathering the thoughts kind of morning, and wow, doesn't look like anybody wants anyone to hear anything today. So, alright, let's go with that one. We'll start with that one first, then we'll just go from the top. How about that? Get centered. Oh, I need this card so bad this morning. Get centered. When it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center. In my center, I have the wisdom and tranquility of, fill in the blank, your favorite animal, holding a, fill in the blank, magical item, floating through space on a fill in the blank piece of furniture. So let's work with this one. They're holding the 8-ball, which is absolutely hilarious with their 5 bazillion hands. So let's see. I have the wisdom and tranquility of an otter. I like otters. They're so, no, you know what? I like otters, but I love penguins. So I have the wisdom and tranquility of a penguin holding a magical star floating through space on an otter. Good morning, baby sibling. So there, get centered. So again, it's fill in your favorite animal, holding a magical item, floating on a piece of furniture. Oh, furniture. I said otter. Otters aren't furniture. So again, let's try this again. So when it gets to be too much, whatever it is, I close my eyes and return to my center. In my center, I have the wisdom and tranquility of a penguin holding a magical star, floating through space on an ottoman. How about an ottoman? I mean, they have those little buttons, and some of them have, like the old school ones have those little buttons, right? We can just pretend those buttons do things. So, yes, I used to do that when I was a kid. Next one, let's see. Beauty. It's funny. This is actually a validation card for me because yesterday while I was working through a lot of my stuff, based on that dream I said I had, the peacock came up. And it was actually quite interesting. And one of the things that I'd written about the peacock, it's actually in here, was that I actually found it very, very interesting because I never really thought about it. But let's see, where did I put it? Sorry, you get to wait with me as I look. So peacocks represent self-love and self-confidence. And one of the interesting things about a peacock is they also are a sign of rejuvenation, respect, honor, and integrity. Just as a peacock is unable to see their own feathers and are unaware of their beauty, we too can be unaware of our gifts. So I like that. Just as a peacock isn't able to see their own feathers and are unaware of their own beauty, we too can be unaware of our own gifts. In fact, we too could look, right. Oh, there's a card hiding in there. So I guess everything happens for a reason after all. In fact, we can look in the mirror and see right through ourselves, right? And that can make self-care a little rough. Good morning, Debbie Hall. So let's get to beauty. Beauty. I'm beautiful even when I don't think it. I'm beautiful even when I don't see it. I'm beautiful no matter how many people don't say it. I'm beautiful and I don't even care if you know it. I'm beautiful, which is why I don't have to try so hard all the time to show it. A little bit of a rhyme there, eh? But, yeah, just be you. Just go out there and be you. There's no better person to be than you. Everybody else is taken, right? So, and here we go. This one was hiding in the box. Story of my life. Ugh, that's what it feels like lately. As I tell myself the story of what's happening in my life, I choose to make it the kind of story where even the tough parts have a sort of inner beauty. It's ultimately a happy story where every character, no matter how wicked, is doing their best. And let me tell you, it'll be worth it when I earn that Pulitzer Prize for Best Inner Monologue. I should already have several for that. It's funny. Like I said, I went to pull out the floof book and this card was hiding right in here. And this is the card that's going to lead us in because today for day 8, so far the days are corresponding, okay? I started this last Monday, which was the 29th of November. And we're not doing them on the weekends. But the way it worked out is that all of this week, days 7 through, what is Friday? 10? 7 through 10 are going to fit the dates. Starting next week, we're going to be off the dates. So try not to look for the date when, if you go to watch this later, look for the number. Okay, just follow them by number. So today, where am I putting too much energy? I have a lot of things to say today, especially because it is Self-Care Wednesday, and I still want to kind of stick to the themes, and I want to stick to this and incorporate the self-care aspect of this, but I've been struggling this morning. I've been struggling very, very hard this morning. For a long time now, and I think I've used Mom and Sissy as kind of an excuse as to why I'm not really a fan of Christmas. I love Christmas, though. That's the thing. I sit here and say I'm not really a fan of Christmas, but I love it. But I can't seem to find my Christmas spirit. My Christmas spirit seems to be hiding away somewhere. It's locked away, trapped for me to go rescue, like some crazy, fictional novel or mystery novel, right? Somebody's kidnapped my Christmas spirit and it's up to me to find it. So I know mentally I'm struggling with this because everything is distracting me right now, but I'm going to try to stick to the point. So again, where am I putting too much energy? I'm putting too much energy, and I wrote all this down. I had to, or I was going to forget. So, hanging on to the past and resisting change instead of just going with the flow. It's much easier to go with the flow, okay? Now, when I say resistance, I'm not talking about everything around you, like decisions you choose to make or, people telling you what you can and can't do. When I talk resistance, I mean resisting yourself, resisting your path, resisting the journey that you're on. The more you resist, the harder you're making it for yourself. That's kind of the truth all the way around. But, it is, I don't know. I'm going to wing it because normally my brain just flows with me. And today I'm just like, but I love doing this. So, I'll just deal with my brain afterwards. I think one of the things that I am struggling with is, so I've been talking about the floof book, right? This is the book I was telling you, the little notebook I was telling you about that I started when my dad was in the hospital, or actually right when he got out of the hospital, but I started thinking about it beforehand. And it's kind of like putting it's like the period on the sentence. The sentence, it's extremely long journey with a lot of little adventures, a lot of starting lines, a lot of finish lines. And I mean, we never truly hit the last starting or finish line. Okay, the last finish line you hit, that is your true finish line. And I'm sure you understand what I'm saying there. However, we're always learning something new. We're always on some kind of new journey. And it can make it hard. You know, one of the reasons I think I still struggle with my lack of Christmas spirit is because I tend to invalidate my feelings. When I bring up how it's bothering me and how it's hurting me, a lot of times when I'm talking to people, it becomes, well, you know, at least you don't have to blah, 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 deal with this. And that kind of hurts because I get that my issues are probably not as bad as other people's issues. So I stopped talking about it. You know, I stopped kind of sharing where I'm at, but then I stopped doing it and doing the work myself. And I remember I had said something about how I tend to invalidate my feelings a while ago. And Bestie sent me this. And he overheard a conversation. And, you know, it says this. You don't need to compare your suffering with someone else's. It's not a competition. No one wins in the Misery Olympics. So he says you don't need to compare your suffering with someone else's. It's not a competition. No one wins in the Misery Olympics. And I think that's where I put too much of my energy. I put too much of my energy worrying about not just my feelings, but everybody else's feelings. So that doesn't mean I have to say anything. That doesn't mean we don't have to say anything. I mean, when people are hurting, read the room. Okay, read the room. But don't, even if you don't say something, don't invalidate your own feelings. Your feelings are important. Your feelings are yours. They are what kind of help you navigate this world, right? Your emotions. You know, a lot of times people are so rational, they don't move forward with emotions. They just move forward with a rational thinking mind. But one of the things I found interesting is that I couldn't understand why it was affecting me so much today. And I think I realized it was because, you know, I was talking about that dream I had yesterday and how I never finished journaling about it. And eventually I told, it just was trying to come up and out. So, you know, I just kind of blurted it all out to older sibling. At first I was kind of hinting, hey, I had this weird dream. Oh yeah. And then I said, well, how, you know, and then I was like, well, how come you didn't ask me about it? She's like, I did, but you got sidetracked. So I think I was trying to avoid it. Okay. I was putting too much energy into resisting. So finally I told her, but as we were talking, I realized what all these different cards I told you I got meant. They were stepping stones. They were like climbing a ladder to understanding. And in the end, I realized that it was floof I had to get rid of. Now, for anybody who hasn't watched in a while or is new, floof is what I named my inner child and the shadow work that I do. It's that part of me that just kind of shouldered all my pain, my anxiety, my worries. And yesterday, as I was talking about, you know, all this pain, anxiety, and worries, they're not doing anything for me. They're not serving my life purpose at all. So I decided I'm going to give having faith, having belief, and just kind of going with the flow a try. Because if nothing else, they can't be any worse. But actually, I think they'll be better. Because your mindset changes. You stop looking at everything as glass half empty, and you start looking at everything as glass half full, no matter what you're going through. You stop feeling guilty and ashamed of things that you can't change, feelings that you may have had once. You know, there were a lot of things I wish I'd done better when my mom was alive. You know, I wish I'd visited more, I visited quite a bit, but I wish I visited more. I wish I had put her first on the occasions when I should have put her first instead of somebody else who never put me first. You know, and I'm not saying people have to put me first. What I'm saying is I put other people ahead of her that didn't truly deserve it like she did. You know, and that was wrong of me. But I can't change that. And so I realized I had to stop guilting myself over that. I had to stop putting that energy into that. And that's kind of what this question is about. When you ask yourself, Where am I putting too much energy? Where are you putting too much energy? Are you worrying about everything all the time? Are you, freaking out about everything all the time? We can't change what's going to happen, but we can change or work on how we react to it. And it can be scary. And this is why I wrote all this down. I kept joking with everybody yesterday about how, hey, I told you guys to give my heart a name because, she does so much for me. I need to give back to her. And then as I was laying in bed last night, I was, because all the shadow work I had done, which, okay, this is funny. Tomorrow's subject, I'm giving you a preview now, is about shadow work. So I probably should have been talking about this tomorrow, but I didn't see it. I didn't see it until right now, but we'll still cover that, okay? Because tomorrow, I think doing this today is going to help me help those who need to, work on their shadow work. It'll help me give them a better idea and better perspective on how it works if you're new to it, if you've never done it before, or if you've kind of been putting it off because you don't know. Some people just don't know how to start. You start by putting one foot in front of the other, but we'll save that for tomorrow. However, going back to, the heart thing, I said, hey, you guys, I need someone to name my heart. I need someone to do this, that, and the other, because I didn't know what to name her. So last night when I was laying in bed, right before I wrote this next part down, I realized I had to say goodbye to Floof. The tower fell, and believe it or not, the last card I pulled last night was the tower, and I think that was validation from my inner child, from my shadow self, saying, this card used to represent what we were. You're not that person anymore. You have to let go. And so I thought, well, gosh, maybe I was using Floof as kind of an anchor. And I think that's why the idea of that came up. And I'll be honest with you, the idea of her actually came up. I was talking to a friend, and a friend says, yeah, I got this negative thinking, talking, yammering person inside of me that I had to name. And they named her. And I thought, oh my God, that's actually probably the best way for me to handle my shadow work, is if I'm dealing with somebody else. And even though it's your inner self, your inner negative dialogue, it makes it a little bit easier because it gives you something to focus on. It gives you a name to focus on. It gives you, more of a 3D image as opposed to a one-dimensional, stick figure in your head that's kind of like, oh, I don't get it. How do I do this? How do I work through this? So I decided, and I wrote this last night, I named my heart Floof. Because that inner child, that shadow work, saw me through some of the most difficult confrontations with my emotions. I thought after a series of journaling I would have to say goodbye, but instead I moved her to my heart, where the memory of her will always live, and where I am reminded to get out of my head and into my heart. She is a reminder of my strength and how I have evolved. So I'm going to read that one more time. I named my heart Floof. Okay, so y'all had your chance. I named her. I named my heart Floof because that inner child, that shadow work, saw me through some of the most difficult confrontations with my emotions. I thought after a series of journaling I would have to say goodbye, but instead I moved her to my heart, where the memory of her will always live, and where I'm reminded to get out of my head and into my heart. She is a reminder of my strength and how I have evolved. It's like I was talking about last week when I got the tower. And I know I might be stepping out of some people's comfort zones with talk of the tower deck or the tower card and all that, but it really did signify a lot. I had to let that structure fall apart in order to rebuild it. Because, again, today's subject, where am I putting too much energy? I was putting too much energy trying to keep something that did not exist together. I was trying to hold up a tower that didn't exist anymore, that was trying to fall apart on purpose because it needed to be rebuilt. Good morning, baby bear. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. That's so sweet. But I kind of want people to think about that, okay? When, again, the question, where am I putting too much energy? Where are you putting too much energy? Are you focusing on yourself? I mean, we are talking about Self-Care Wednesday, Are you practicing your self-care? Are you practicing what you need to do so you can serve from a full cup? I was talking about yesterday how I was talking to a friend this weekend, and they've been going through quite a bit and quite a lot, and we talked it out. And I find this sometimes, even though I love journaling, talking things out with people actually really kind of helps. It really kind of, because you're kind of, it's like verbal tennis in a way, or verbal volleyball. You're going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And a lot of times it could just be you hitting a ball up against a wall, where it's like, okay, because you're bouncing something off of somebody. Okay, that other person could just sit there like a wall, say nothing, but you're working it out. You're bouncing all these ideas off of them until all of a sudden you have that aha moment. You're like, whoa, where'd that come from? And that's what happened yesterday when I was talking to an older sibling, who I thank for sitting there and listening to me ramble for like half an hour as I worked all this out loud. But last night when I went to bed, I was upset because I didn't want to say goodbye to Floof. I was like, I just found you and we're finally taking care of each other, and now I got to let her go. And I got very emotional about it. And I literally cried in bed because, see, I'm getting emotional about it now, because I realized this was my inner child. This was my inner self that was dealing with all this stuff. But it's possible for me, in my own experience, that all the negativity that was coming out of me was because they're like, let me go already. It was like I had kidnapped Floof and just kept her in this tower where she didn't want to be anymore, because she knew that's not who we are anymore. So I think the biggest part was there was a duality about me. Okay, there was this strange duality about me. And to just kind of explain that, for those, again, that might be new, or just, when I was a child and I had that trauma, hiding it from the world, everybody, and I mean everybody, hiding it from the world and being afraid that somebody would find out, and having my shame come out into this world, after years of having to deal with this, two people somehow were born. The one who hid the trauma, and the one who did their best to live this life of a child, to have a childhood. And so there was always like, think of it as like a truck pulling a trailer, or actually think of it as a car pulling a huge trailer, right? That car is going to get a lot of resistance because it's this tiny little car trying to pull something so big. And the more I hid it, and the more I didn't talk about it, and the more I didn't think about talking to it, the trailer got bigger and heavier with all that baggage. Nothing fun in there, okay? Just baggage and pain and emotions and struggles. And so older sibling said she had no clue what to say. It was hard. It really was hard, because I had just found this part of me. And then I was being told, you have to say goodbye. But then I told her, I said, I realized the reason Floof surfaced and why she got a name and why she got all this extra work being done in this notebook isn't because I needed to relive everything. It's because I think my inner self was telling me, look, we're not this person anymore. We're trying to keep together a structure that doesn't exist. You were literally the phoenix that has fallen into the ashes, and now you're being reborn in it. You're rising from it. We all have that capability. We can all rise. Whatever your issue is, whatever your struggle is, there are a lot of people I know that are hurting, that are really hurting so much more than I am. And a year ago, I would have said, well, my feelings are valid. My feelings are valid. But I would have been hurt about it. I would have been like, well, my feelings are valid. How come whenever I say something, someone is kind of invalidating me? And then I would get upset about it. But now, as I sit here, I realize that, yeah, I do see the struggles that people have. I do see all the struggles of people around me. And I pick and choose. I read the room. But I don't let my feelings get invalidated anymore. Because the only person that can validate your feelings are you. is you. Are you? Is you. You're the only person that can truly validate your feelings, just like you're the only person who can truly heal your feelings. And maybe that's where my Christmas spirit lies, right? I mean, think about Miracle on 34th Street. All right, I know. Everyone's like, oh, Shelley, that's fiction. Of course it's fiction. Or is it? Or is it? See, everybody says Santa doesn't exist. But I believe the spirit of Christmas and the spirit of Santa, or whatever you want to call it, I think it does exist. And what the movie teaches us is that while everybody around her, this little girl, wasn't believing, she believed. And in the end, everything she wanted, which is basically the family, she got. Now, you could say, well, Santa brought it to her because, spoiler alert, although this movie's like old, okay, there's a cane by the door, so Santa's cane. But the point is she never let her spirit wane or waver. She never let it waver. She believed wholeheartedly. Because, it was just, yes, we could say it's a childlike wonder, and maybe this isn't the best example to give. But when we believe in our hearts wholeheartedly that good things can happen, we shift that energy. Okay? And we change. What are we putting too much energy into? If you're constantly putting too much energy into the negative and not finding anything positive in it, you're going to stay there. You're going to stick to it. And things aren't going to get better until you find that shift. And I'll be honest, a big part of that shift came when, baby sibling and I were talking. And she told me, she's like, you just got to find the joy in every moment, even the bad things. Because if you don't, that could be your undoing. However, for me, I did have to dive deep into the negative to heal the positive. But it was more than just a surface comment for me. I started thinking about everything. I started realizing that, at the time, because I was so worried about my dad, that I can't worry about him. I mean, I worry about him, obviously, because he's my dad. But, I can't control everything he does. I wouldn't want to, because that's not who... I do tend to overstep, but I know my dad, and I knew in my heart he'd get better, but I had that negative Nelly in the back of my head just saying, no, what if? Well, what if will eventually happen? Okay, as older sibling loves to say, nobody gets out of this alive. Nobody gets out of this life alive. Okay, at some point we're all going to transition onto a better, into our energy selves, all right, or however you want to put it, and become angels. And I'm not eye rolling. I'm just saying become angels and all that stuff. And the question is, while you're living this life, when you're feeling down and blue and crappy and cruddy and all that, are you putting too much energy into that? Are you feeding your negative? Or are you taking a negative and, like baby sibling said, finding the positive in it? There's a positive in everything. Even if you just have to step back and say, at least I'm breathing. Be grateful for today. Be grateful for today, because the hard truth is a lot of people will not make it through today. Now, I'm not saying that's any of you. So don't take that the wrong way, but the news, God, the news plays in my house in the morning, and it's rough. There have been some bad things happening in a nearby city, and 2 kids are dead now. And that's not to bring anybody down, but it's to remind you that, wow, I woke up today, my children are home safe, thank God, or thank source. And I think those are the things that we need to be grateful for. The little things are truly the big things. The little things are always the biggest things. I literally have, I'm going to share this. Oops. Well, I was going to share it until it fell, but, okay, I'll share it tomorrow. There is, unless I can reach it. Sorry, guys. Okay, there it is. There's a picture of me and my dad. So my dad and I went on a trip, and I found this key. I love keys. I need to clean it. So, but I haven't gotten around to that yet because I kind of like the rustic something or other of it. We don't know what this key went to. No clue. Best guess is maybe it went to somebody's door. One of those doors, you know, because I mean, I bought it with a bunch of like little chips that for a good time because it was just, you know, I love history, even the weird stuff about it. But I look at this key and I keep it in front of me every day because I think about the history of it. This key is over 100 years old. Okay, this key dates back to the 1800s and the early 1900s. Or, yeah, late 1800s, early 1900s. And I often wonder what this key has seen between the day it was made, for whatever lock it unlocked, to the moment it came into my possession. And then I thought about what has it seen sitting in front of me. It has seen my tears. It has seen me put the energy into the wrong things. It has seen me try to put energy into good things. And so instead of trying to figure out where my Christmas spirit has gone, I've decided I need to stop resisting and stop hanging on to the past and to just move forward. You know, it's hard because it is Christmas time or holiday season, however season's greeted. I call it Aloha Miss. Okay? I mean, I figure that takes a stigma out of everything. Just Aloha Miss. It's the love of the season. But it's been hard too because I'm still looking for a job. And I'm one of those people that really likes to be the person that, you know, as an adult, and I'm pretty sure I was like this as a kid, although I loved getting presents as a kid. But as an adult, I like to give stuff more. You know, I like to put my thought into things. I like to be ahead of myself. And this year I can't do that. And so I started thinking about that. And I started, you know, thinking, well, maybe the positive in this is that I'm missing the point. Maybe the positive in this is to remind me to put that positive energy back out into the world. To maybe it's time for me to dig deep and find that Christmas spirit, right? To find that wonder and that sense of awe that we all had as kids. That I have had as an adult, but I honestly don't know when I really kind of lost it. And I thought it was because of my mom passing, which I think part of it was. But when I think back, it was already kind of just... And I think a lot of it too for me was, it's because, you know, you start seeing all these engagement commercials, you start seeing all these families with their kids, and that kind of weighs on me sometimes. And like I said, this isn't about a pity party. This is about being completely honest with my feelings, because I know I'm not the only one out there who feels this way. I know a lot of people dread going home because it's like, oh, look, I have seen people, not necessarily my own family, but I have seen people that said, oh, look, so-and-so has a significant other for the holidays. And you're just kind of like, I mean, there was a time when my mom would ask me, when are you going to settle down? When are you going to have kids? It's like, I'm not just going to settle for anybody. Sorry. You know, even back then I had standards. We all should have standards. You know, if somebody doesn't resonate with you, you don't marry them. You don't spend your life with them. You know, you wait. And you wait for the right person to come along. You know, and hopefully that happens. But I think sometimes too, I have put too much into that. I have put my happiness in somebody else's hands. And maybe that's where I lost my Christmas spirit. I started thinking, well, they have all of this, but look at all that I have. I have a wonderful older sibling that created a Christmas Eve tradition with, you know, her, myself, and, you know, Sissy, when Sissy was still alive. And, you know, a lot of times there was a time when, you know, it's like we take in strays, you know, like, oh, you don't have anyone to spend Christmas season with? Okay, come with us, you know, and I think that's where I lost it. I started putting all of my happiness in someone else's basket, the proverbial someone's. You know, I started thinking, well, I'm only going to be happy if I have this. No, I'm breathing. I have, you know, I'm breathing. I live in an area where, you know, I wish it was colder, I admit. But we have nice weather. You know, not a lot of people do that. A lot of people are buried under snow right now. Not us. So I think that's what it is. It really, like I said, it really kind of goes back to what Baby Sibling said, where you have to find the joy in everything, even the negative stuff. You know, and just, you know, be the key to your own door. Be the key to your own door. Good morning, Ladina. Be the key to your own door. If you want that door to open it. Okay? Don't worry about if it's locked. Doors don't stay locked forever. They will eventually open. All right? So just think about where you are putting too much of your energy. Try to, just try to think about what I've said. Don't put your energy into negative things. Negative things are just going to bring negative shit back to you. It's as simple as that. So, I was going to start the affirmators cards in the last 10 minutes that we have here. I love this. Okay, I just randomly pulled these cards, but I thought this one would be fun because I am not really... I do my best to support myself internally and say nice things to myself in the mirror, but I'm not outwardly when I try to say things. But I liked this one. She's a butterfly woman, something like that. I'm a total catch, and I know all the reasons why. I know that anyone would be lucky to be with me, and that doesn't mean I'm arrogant or snobby. Self-respect is just one of the many qualities exhibited by this complete and utter babe. I'm a total catch, and I know all the reasons why. I know that anyone would be lucky to be with me, and that doesn't mean I'm arrogant or snobby. Self-respect is just one of the many qualities exhibited by this complete and utter babe. So if you need to say that to yourself, guys out there, guys and gals, you're a complete and utter babe. Levity. Just what we needed. Just what we needed. This is getting way too serious up in here. So, laughter is the best medicine, and it looks like the time for you to take a sweet hit of it. Okay, let me not stumble over that one. Laughter is the best medicine, and it looks like it's time for you to take a sweet, sweet hit of it. When someone annoys you or a plan goes awry, try finding something funny in there. And if you ever feel like the butt of the joke, remember that the only difference between someone laughing at you and someone laughing with you is that in the first version, you're not laughing. You always have the option, so opt to lighten up. It's legal in almost 200 countries. There you go. Humility. Oh, that's a good one. The noodle's on vacation. And drinking a nice fancy drink out of a pineapple. That's right. Brain juice. I take a deep breath and release all of my desire to be right. Without right, what's left? A soft and pliable version of me that's willing to make mistakes, hear other people's opinions, and try doing stuff a different way. In other words, I get to take a pretty sweet, all-inclusive brain vacation. And there is an asterisk there that says some restrictions apply depending on the current tenacity of my ego. So, humility is huge, okay? You don't always have to be right. Sometimes just agree to disagree. Or just, you know what? Take that time to just give your brain a break, okay? Vulnerability. This is a hard one for a lot of people and for myself. But I was telling older sibling yesterday, I said, vulnerability is actually a superpower, because a lot of people are always going to try to hit below the belt. And if you allow yourself to be super vulnerable, they're going to hit below the belt and it is going to feel freaking bad. But when you're vulnerable, you're allowing yourself to heal. You don't have to be vulnerable to other people, okay? But be vulnerable with yourself. That is your superpower. That is your super skill. It is telling you, look, this is hurting me. I need to heal it. Okay? It was just like the whole floof thing. I was so afraid of letting her go because I'll be honest with you. One of the things I forgot to say about that, I didn't think I could do this life without her. I did not think I could do this life without her. And that's when I decided, oh, wait, that's a negative thought. And so I told her, I said, you know what? I'm just going to keep you in my heart. Because I thought, well, I have to say goodbye to her. I have to put her to rest. R.I.P. Blah, blah, blah. Rest in love. But I decided, no, I'm going to keep you in my heart where Mom and Sissy are. Where all the people that I've truly cared about have gone. stick, Brian, my coworker, you know, all those people that you really, really care about that aren't physically here anymore. And, you know, floof is me, but the idea of what I've went through, I cannot let live anymore because it's not who I am, and it's anchoring me, and it's not allowing me to sail forth. So I decided I need to get out of my headspace, and I literally said, I'm going to move her from my head to my heart. I need to get out of my head and into my heart. And we've had cards like that tell you need to get out of your head and into your heart. Because your brain is always going to try to tell you something's wrong. It's a fight or flight mode. Basically, it's a safety mechanism that we put in there. And until we can connect our heart with our head and get them both balanced out, a lot of times you just got to live out of your heart. You know, so I decided to keep her there. And that's why I named her that. That's why I named the heart Floof. Because that's my reminder of, what did I say? My reminder of my strength and how I have evolved. You know, I look back and I see that person I used to be and I think, wow, I've come a long way. I've come a very, very long way. And that's what I want to keep doing, moving forward. Okay, so vulnerability. I allow myself to talk about my feelings without fear of external judgment or internal drama. When I express my feelings, a couple of funny things happen. 1, I feel like a kindergartner. And 2, everything gets lighter, easier, and filled with a comforting glow of honesty. Hey, no wonder kindergartners seem to have so much fun and be stress-free. Right? It's color all day. So vulnerability is not a bad thing. And for the last one, I love it, self-worth. Self-worth, which is perfect for Self-Care Wednesday. I cast off all concerns about what people think of me. I know I'm a totally kick-ass person, and my kick-assness can never be diminished by rejection. So people can think what they think and feel what they feel. In the meantime, I'll just keep on knowing what I know without thinking about what they are thinking about what I already know, I think. Let me sum it up. Don't worry about what other people think. What other people think of you is none of your business. All right? That is first and foremost something we should always be taught. What other people think of you is none of your business. Someone's always going to have an opinion. You know, we're human. We all have opinions, right? I mean, has anybody really gotten through a month lately without talking about somebody else? I mean, I think some of us can honestly say yes, you know, but I mean, seriously, I was just bitching about a family member yesterday that I had to see at Thanksgiving. And I thought, well, you know what? I'm just as bad. But I am human. And I do work on that. And I realize now that they don't deserve my energy. They don't deserve my, my thoughts during the day. What I need to focus on are the people, who just do deserve it, And that's where I decided to find the positive. That's where I decided to find the good in a bad thought. And so we're always growing. And, sometimes we're going to say things about people, but if you take that moment and you learn to grow from it, then it becomes a place of judgment to a place of learning and walking away from that. So, anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember today's question, guys. Where am I putting too much energy? Somehow I have a feeling that question is going to float right into tomorrow's subject of shadow work. Shadow work's going to be fun. I'm not going to shake my head on that because shadow work is very, very hard. But I will tell you, the hardest part about shadow work, and I'm saying this because I know a lot of you will come back to watch for tomorrow. I'm putting this out there now because it's something I want you to think about as we head into shadow work tomorrow. The hardest part about doing shadow work is taking the step first. Taking the first step and acknowledging that a lot of healing needs to be done. And if you feel that you don't need the shadow work, then, look at your behaviors throughout the day. Do you have patterns? And if you don't, if you've healed all that shadow work, if you've done all that hard work, then just tune in, because there might be somebody out there who might be able to use the tools that I'm going to share tomorrow on how to start your shadow work and get through it. And, you know, you really can heal it all. You just have to be willing to heal it all. You just have to be willing to take that first step and to make that first move. Okay, so okay, Ladina, I will see you back here tomorrow then. So anyways, I hope everybody has a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Please tune in tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Facebook Live under Shelly Marie Lucas. All lives are public, okay? So anybody can watch. Or you can catch the replay on the Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas. I always forget my last name because I'm not sure if I put it on there or not, but Aloha Perspective with Shelly Marie Lucas on YouTube or, you know, Twitter, because I share it there too. And also, I've been blogging daily, so I'm caught up now. So I will also be sharing my mental thoughts in writing on this if you don't want to stare at my face. So, you know, there you go. Again, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of you, okay? It is Self-Care Wednesday. Show yourself some self-love. Show yourself some self-care. And try to figure out where you're putting too much of your energy. I hope you have a great day.